Don't say anything to my son. That sentence from my lawyer, a month after my wife's death, was the beginning of hell. I thought I would find her tender farewell in the safe, but instead I found a hidden message that accused my own son. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you were listening in the comments. My key wouldn't turn. I stood on my front porch, groceries in one hand, phone buzzing in my pocket. The lock finally gave way. The phone kept buzzing. Unknown number, Portland area code. I almost let it go to voicemail. Mr. Morgan, this is Pierre Costello. I was your wife's attorney. We need to meet. The grocery bag slipped. An apple rolled across the hardwood. Her attorney? Serafina's estate lawyer was... Different matter, private matter. She left something in my safe, for your eyes only. My chest tightened. Serafina had been gone a month. The house still smelled like her lavender soap. What kind of... Not on the phone. Today, 3 p.m., my office on NW Broadway. He paused, long enough for me to hear traffic in the background. And Mr. Morgan, don't mention this to your son. She was very specific about that. The line went dead. I picked up the apple, 4 hours to kill, and I couldn't sit still. I cleaned the kitchen, reorganized my stamp collection for the 3rd time this week. Didn't help. The coffee shop thing had been a week ago. Tuesday morning, my usual spot on Belmont. 10 years I'd been going there every Tuesday. Quentin had walked in like he owned the place. Dad, hey, funny running into you here. Funny like a funeral. This was my spot. He knew it. Funny, this is my usual spot. Tuesday mornings, for 10 years. Right. Listen, Priscilla and I were talking. That house is way too big for you now. All those stairs, the maintenance. I'm 67, not 97. I know, but alone in that place? We've got the guest room, much easier. My coffee cup paused mid-air. I set it down, too carefully. I'm staying put. Sure, just offering. He'd said it too quickly, like he'd rehearsed it. Like he expected the refusal and had already moved to plan B. I'd forgotten about it until Pierre's call. Now it felt connected. Everything felt connected. The drive downtown took 20 minutes. Found parking on my first try. 40 years analyzing historical documents, defeated by a QR code. A teenager showed me how to work the parking app. Thanks. The kid probably thought I was pathetic. Pierre's building was old, real old. The elevator creaked, 5th floor. His office was cramped, files stacked everywhere. One window facing downtown. He stood when I entered, mid-50s, calm face. The kind of calm you develop after seeing people at their worst. Mr. Morgan, thank you for coming. What's this about? He pulled an envelope from his desk drawer, legal size, sealed with red wax. Serafina's handwriting across the front, for Felix only. My hands shook, the wax cracked. Inside, a USB drive, a safe deposit box key, and a note. Her handwriting. The loops and curves I'd watched for 40 years. Quentin isn't who he seems. I've been collecting evidence for 15 years. Protect yourself. Don't let him win. S. The paper cut my thumb. Small blood drop on the corner. I didn't wipe it. Your wife came to me 2 years ago. Very methodical woman. Very thorough. My jaw clenched. I folded the note. Edges aligned perfectly. Even in shock, my hands remembered precision. What's on this? I held up the USB drive. Everything. Sit down, Mr. Morgan. You'll want to be sitting. I sat. Pierre slid a tissue box across the desk without comment. My phone buzzed. Text from Quentin. Hey, Dad, free for lunch tomorrow? I stared at the screen. Maybe. We'll let you know. His response came fast. Great. Been too long. Miss you. Miss you. I locked the phone. 15 years. My voice cracked. She knew for 15 years? She documented everything. Would you like water before we... No, show me. Pierre inserted the USB drive into his computer. The screen flickered. A folder appeared. For Felix. Start here. Inside, hundreds of files. Audio, video, documents, spreadsheets. The first file, Quentin Priscilla, on Feb 2024 kitchen recording. MP3. Pierre's hand hovered over the mouse. Are you ready for this? My throat was dry. Play it. Static. Then voices, clear as broken glass. Quentin's voice. Once Mom's gone, Dad won't last long. He's lost without her. Priscilla's voice sharper than Quentin's. How long are we talking? 6 months, Dr. Wade said with his blood pressure. A stroke's practically inevitable. And if it's not, Wade can make sure it happens. Higher doses, wrong medication, stress triggers. Who's going to question a 70-year-old man having a stroke? And the house? Ours. All of it. He'll never see it coming. The room tilted. I grabbed the desk edge. Knuckles went white. Pierre's trash can appeared in front of me. I lurched forward, vomited. My son's voice kept playing in the background. Pierre pushed the can back under his desk with his foot. Didn't break eye contact. That's the 3rd time this month that's happened in this office. Estate law brings out the worst in people. I managed a weak laugh, wiped my mouth. Good to know I'm not special. I know. He handed me a water bottle, already open, like he'd been expecting this. She was protecting you and building a case. A case for what? For this moment, when you'd finally see who he became. He clicked through folders, financial documents, loan applications, all with my name, my signature, except these loan applications, all signed in your name. I leaned closer. The room still spun, but my training kicked in. 40 years of analyzing documents. The muscle memory was stronger than nausea. I never signed. I stopped, looked closer. That's not my signature. Close, but the M loop's wrong. Your wife noticed too. She photographed the originals before Quentin knew she had them. $120,000? 3 separate banks, 18 months ago. Where did you think that money went? I didn't know it existed. This forgery was insulting. The baseline drifted. I'd spent my entire career examining signatures on 18th century land deeds. My son couldn't even forge my signature competently. That was almost more offensive than the theft. Pierre clicked another file. Photos. Serafina's mother's antique dining set. Victorian. Worth $30,000 at least. More photos showed it being loaded into a truck. A receipt. Sold for $800. 5 years ago, Quentin had borrowed $15,000 for a startup. Never paid it back. I'd forgotten about it. Chalked it up to family, helping family. Now, everything aligned. 15 years of helping himself. My phone vibrated. Quentin's name lit up the screen. I stared at it. 3 full rings. Hello? Hey, Dad. Too cheerful. Always too cheerful. So, I forgot to mention earlier, I've got a notary coming by today, around 6-ish. Just some paperwork. My free hand clenched into a fist, then deliberately relaxed. What paperwork? Power of attorney stuff, so I can help manage your accounts, pay bills, make things easier for you. I manage fine. I know, but Mom would have wanted someone watching out for you. And with your memory, my memory's fine. Of course it is. This is just preventative, smart planning. The shock had burned away. What was left felt colder, sharper. All right, 6 o'clock. Perfect. Love you, Dad. See you then. I set the phone down. Eerie precision. Pierre watched me. You're not actually going to sign that. No, but I need him to think I will. He's bringing a notary, real legal documents. Let him bring whatever he wants. I looked at Pierre, met his eyes. How long to build a real case? Criminal charges? With what your wife collected, we could file tomorrow. But, you asked me how long we'd need? What exactly are we destroying? My voice came out steady, cold, no tremor. Everything, their reputation, their finances, their future. I paused. How long? Depends how thorough you want to be. I want them to lose everything they tried to steal from me, plus everything they already have. A text from Priscilla appeared. Looking forward to seeing you tonight. I showed Pierre the heart emoji. Irony's dead. No, just hiding. Pierre pulled the USB drive from the computer. Take this home, copy everything. There are files we didn't even open yet. He handed me a business card. My cell's on there. Tonight, when they come, I know. I pocketed the drive. My hands weren't shaking anymore. One more thing. He opened his desk drawer, slid a folder across, thick, heavy. Your wife left instructions. If you want to follow her plan, start with page 1. If you want to make your own plan, skip to page 15. I opened the folder. Page 1, how to protect yourself. Page 15, How to destroy them. My finger hovered between the two sections. Pierre watched me, waited. Which page, Mr. Morgan? My jaw set. I flipped to page 15. The drive home took 10 minutes. I drove 5 over the limit. Uncharacteristic. My car ended up crooked in the driveway. I ran. My office, stamps in glass cases, archive boxes labeled by year, Serafina's face in frames on every surface, became a command center, computer booted, fingers flew over keyboard like my archive days. Folder structure by date, cross-reference audio with financial docs. Second USB drive inserted. Took 2 tries, hands still shaking. 15 minutes. That's all I had before Quentin arrived. Encrypted backup emailed to myself. Pierre's number saved. 3 deep breaths, shoulders loosened. Showtime. I'd scattered newspapers in the living room, left dishes in the sink, dimmed the lights. Playing the declining old man required props. The doorbell made me jump anyway. Hey, Dad! Sorry we're a few minutes late. Traffic on Burnside. Quentin's smile was magazine perfect. Priscilla stood behind him, designer coat already speckled with rain. A third person, bored-looking man with a briefcase. I blinked, fumbled, let confusion wash over my face. Oh, was that today? I thought you said Thursday. It is Thursday, Daddy Felix. Priscilla's voice dripped concern. Her nails were freshly done. Expensive gel work. Is it? The days all run together now. Quentin exchanged a glance with Priscilla. The kind of look that said, "See? Told you." That's exactly why we're here. This is Mark. He's a notary. This won't take long. Mark looked at his phone. Stamped documents without reading them. Professional witness to life's paperwork. $20 said he'd notarize divorce papers and car titles in the same 15 minutes today. Just need to verify ID and witness signatures. Standard power of attorney. They sat. Priscilla touched my shoulder. Fake affection broadcast through fingertips. Quentin surveyed the room. His eyes lingered on the Victorian sideboard, the antique bookshelf. Mental inventory. See, this section here? Priscilla's sugary voice made my teeth ache. It just means Quentin can access your accounts to pay bills. Electric, water, property taxes. You know, if you forget or if something happens. Something happens? She means if you're sick or traveling or just busy. It's protective, Dad. For you. The papers Pierre had prepared yesterday sat in my lap. Perfect forgeries of real power of attorney documents, legally worthless. I squinted at the small print. These words are awfully small. I can't quite... That's just legal language. Don't worry about the details. The important thing is family taking care of family. My reading glasses slipped, clattered under the couch. All 3 watched me get on hands and knees. My knees cracked. Artillery fire. You okay down there? Fine. Just checking the carpet quality. Very thorough. Priscilla almost laughed. Almost. I signed. Shaky signature on purpose. Ironic, given my expertise. Mark stamped, rhythm, like factory work. Stamp, stamp, stamp. And here, an initial here. Good. All set. Rain started pattering against windows. Priscilla glanced at her shoes. Annoyance flickered across her face. Quentin stood, too cheerful. Great. This is great. Now we can really help out. Take some burden off your shoulders. The words came out before I could stop them. I appreciate that, really. So thoughtful. Pause. How's that startup going, by the way? The one from a few years back? Silence crashed into the room. Priscilla's smile froze mid-expression. What startup? Quentin's voice went careful. The one you needed $15,000 for. What was it? Tech something? That was 5 years ago. Why bring it up now? My brain screamed at me to backtrack. No reason, just remembered it. Memory's funny that way. Forget what day it is. Remember things from years ago. Priscilla's laugh sounded like breaking glass. That's how it works sometimes. Well, we should get going. Long drive back to Beaverton in this rain. Quentin stared at me. His eyes had changed. Yeah, let's go. I walked them to the door. Through the window, I watched their car. Quentin didn't start the engine. 3 minutes of conversation I couldn't hear before they drove away. I whispered to the empty room, "Stupid, that was stupid." My phone buzzed. Quentin. "Thanks for signing, Dad. Sleep well? I waited 10 minutes, finally replied, "Fine, tired, good night." His response came fast. "Night." I stared at that message. Something in the timing felt wrong. Text to Pierre. "I may have tipped my hand. We need to move faster." The house still smelled like Priscilla's perfume, something expensive and overwhelming. I opened 3 windows. Rain came in. Didn't care. Rather smell wet carpet than whatever desperation cost at $200 a bottle. At 9, I opened my laptop. The time difference meant Stockholm was waking up. Eloise's face pixelated, then cleared. "Dad? It's 6 a.m. here. What's your face? What happened? I need to tell you something about your brother. Is he okay? Is Priscilla?" "They're fine. Too fine." "Eloise, how much do you know about Quentin's finances?" Pause. "Why?" "Just answer." He asked me for money last month, $10,000. Said it was for some investment opportunity, time sensitive. He'd pay me back with interest." My hand gripped the desk edge. "Did you send it?" "Half. 5,000. I didn't have 10. I felt bad that I couldn't." "Dad, what's going on?" "You're not getting that money back." "What?" "And he's taken a lot more than that from me." She started crying. Real, ugly crying that made the camera shake. I knew something was off. The way he asked, it was so urgent, so desperate. "But he's my brother. I thought he's my son. I thought the same thing, for a lot longer than I should have." "What do we do?" "I'm handling it, but I need you to not contact him. Can you do that?" "Not contact? Dad, he's going to notice if I suddenly make up something. You're busy with research. You're sick. Anything. Just don't let him know we've talked. You're scaring me." "Good. Be scared. Be careful. I'll explain everything when it's done." The call ended. I sat in darkness, just the stamp collection case light on. My phone buzzed again. "Unknown number?" "Mr. Morgan, this is Detective Odell Pierce, Portland Police Northeast Precinct. Pierre Castello contacted us regarding fraudulent loan applications in your name. Can you come to the station tomorrow morning, 9 a.m.? Outside my window, a car drove past. Slowly, didn't stop. But it was the 3rd time in the last hour. I typed, "I'll be there." The car circled again. Rain and darkness hid the driver. Sleep didn't happen. At 8:30, Friday morning, I drove to Northeast Precinct, carrying an accordion folder of backup documents. My hands were steady. Resolved. The duty officer pointed up. "3rd floor, Detective Pierce." The elevator had an out-of-order sign. Of course it did. I climbed slowly, reminded myself I was 67, not 27. Pierre arrived as I reached the landing, took one look at the stairs, turned to the officer below. "Still broken? Budget cuts?" Pierre sighed. "I'm billing the city for my knee replacement." Detective Odell Pierce had a coffee cup surgically attached to his hand. 4th one by 10 a.m., based on the empties on his desk. 50-something, seen-it-all face. His office smelled like burned coffee and old case files. "Mr. Morgan, Odell Pierce, thanks for coming in." Firm handshake. "Didn't think I had a choice." "You don't, but most people fight it." "You brought documentation?" His eyes tracked to my folder. 40 years as an archivist. I bring documentation to family dinners. Slight smile. "This'll be easier than usual then. Your lawyer's already here. Conference room 2. The forensic examiner, Dr. Yvonne Chen, spread 3 loan applications across the conference table. She used gloved hands, precise movements. "These are clean forgeries. Whoever did this practiced, but they made 3 mistakes." "Only 3? The pressure points are wrong. Your genuine signature shows heavier pressure on upstrokes. Habit from fountain pen use, I'd guess. These forgeries use consistent pressure throughout. Ballpoint technique." "I haven't used ballpoint pens in 30 years. "Exactly. Second mistake, the M loop. Yours closes completely. These have a gap of 0.3 millimeters. Consistent gap, meaning the forger has their own habit there." Pierre leaned forward. "And the 3rd? "Timing. All 3 applications submitted within 2 weeks, 18 months ago. But Mr. Morgan's credit report shows he was in Seattle for a conference during that time. He couldn't have been at 2 of those banks in person." Chen explained using technical terms, measurements to tenths of millimeters. I followed perfectly. Pierre looked lost. "You understand penmanship analysis?" Chen's face lit up. I spent 4 decades verifying signatures on historical documents. This is just shorter history. Finally, someone who appreciates my work. Usually people just want yes or no. We bonded over signature loops while Pierre checked his phone. Detective Pierce recorded my statement. When did you first suspect your son was stealing from you? I didn't, not until yesterday. Your wife never mentioned it? She died a month ago without telling me. She collected evidence instead. Pause. That's unusual. That's Serafina. She documented everything. 15 years of documentation. At noon, Pierce made calls. By 2 p.m., Quentin and Priscilla arrived. I watched through two-way glass. Pierce had bent the rules letting me observe. Quentin's tie was crooked. He kept adjusting it. Priscilla sat perfectly still. Only her eyes moved. The memory hit me without warning. 1 year ago. Not my memory. Serafina's notes had described it, and now I saw it clearly. Their Beaverton house, late night. Quentin stumbling home drunk. I'm not his real son. Priscilla looking up from the TV. What? Felix, I'm not his real son. Mom married him when I was 5. He adopted me, but that doesn't make me... Voice breaking. Eloise is his blood, his real daughter. I'm just the stray he took in. Quentin, you're drunk. I'm drunk and honest. You know what Dad said today? Eloise is doing such important work in Stockholm. He never says that about me. Never. I'm the IT guy who couldn't keep a startup alive. Priscilla moved closer, calculating. You're his son. The one who stayed. The one who helps him. Helps him? He doesn't need help. He needs me gone so he can leave everything to his precious Eloise. Pause, then quietly. Then don't wait for him to choose. Take what's yours. What? The house is worth what? 800,000? Your mother's antiques, his retirement accounts. That's not inheritance, that's compensation for being the son who stayed while Golden Child moved to Sweden. I can't just... Why not? He'll never know. Old people forget things. Sign some papers for him. Manage his money. By the time he realizes, you'll have secured your future, our kids' futures. Silence. Or wait until he writes you out completely. Your choice. The memory dissolved. The interrogation room snapped back into focus. Pierce's voice came through the speaker. Mr. Morgan, when were these loan applications submitted? I don't know what your... September 2023, 3 different banks, all approved based on your father's credit score and signatures. Priscilla's posture didn't change. We weren't even living in Portland then. We were in Beaverton. 30-minute drive. Still. Do you have evidence we were at those banks? We have evidence the signatures are forged. We have evidence your husband is the beneficiary of all 3 loans. We have evidence Mr. Morgan didn't know about them until yesterday. Quentin's voice rose. My father is 67 years old. His memory isn't... He forgets things. Maybe he signed them and forgot. Our forensic examiner disagrees. Your examiner is wrong. Priscilla's word came sharp. Quentin, stop talking. They're accusing me of... We're not saying anything else without lawyers. That's your right, but understand. Federal fraud, identity theft, financial elder abuse. Oregon takes these seriously. You're looking at 10 years minimum if convicted. When Pierce said 10 years, Quentin's face crumbled. His voice went small. I have 2 kids. They're 8 and 6. I can't... Priscilla grabbed his hand under the table. For 5 seconds, they weren't antagonists. Just scared people seeing walls close in. My hand dropped from the windowsill. They left at 3:45. I moved to the window overlooking the parking lot. Rain continued. They ran without umbrellas. The interrogation room audio caught their exit. They have forensic evidence. How do they have... Shut up, not here. We're screwed. We're completely... Priscilla grabbed his arm. Pull yourself together. How did your father suddenly know about the loans? I don't... Think. What changed? Pause. The lawyer. A month ago. Mom died, and some lawyer called him. What lawyer? I don't know. He never mentioned it. But what if Mom... Find out who that lawyer is. Today. Now. Detective Pierce joined me at the window, holding another coffee. They'll lawyer up. This gets harder now. How much harder? Depends what they know. What they can destroy before we... My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Morgan? Woman's voice. Older. Shaky. This is Esther Lancaster. I'm Priscilla's mother. I think I need to talk to you about my daughter. I looked at Pierre. He was listening, nodded slowly. Where can we meet? The bank manager led us to a room barely larger than a closet. One chair, one ancient TV with a DVD player from 2005. Pierre looked at the setup. Do you get HBO on this? Karen Willis didn't smile. It plays DVDs, that's it. After she left, I surveyed the cramped space. At least it's private, though I'm not sure there's room in here for both of us and my disappointment. The safe deposit box required 2 keys. Mine. Pierre's from Serafina's estate. Karen verified both IDs with the careful precision of someone who'd seen too many family fights over dead people's belongings. Your wife set this up 6 years ago, Pierre said quietly. Name me as co-holder in case of her death. My hands went to the box. 6 years. She planned this 6 years ago. Your wife was methodical. That's one word for it. Inside, manila folders, a DVD case, a leather-bound ledger. I lifted each item carefully. The archivist in me wouldn't die, even now. The ledger opened to Serafina's handwriting, January 2005. $400, tools borrowed, never returned. She documented everything, Pierre said. I flipped pages, 20 years of entries. January 2005, 400, March 2005, 850, June 2006, $200. My voice stayed flat. Reading aloud helped me process. December 2018, $12,000. February 2020, $15,000. Every loan, every borrowed item, every promise broken. The final page showed a total $87,000. My breath caught. I thought maybe 20, 25,000. This is systematic theft. From his own father. I set the ledger down, picked up the DVD case. February 2010, written in Serafina's hand. Pierre checked the date. That's 15 years ago. Quentin would have been 23, fresh out of college, living with you while job hunting. I don't remember anything unusual from that time. She hid it from you. Question is why she recorded it. Insurance. She was always 3 steps ahead. I held the DVD like it might explode. I'm not sure I want to watch this. You need to. Karen brought us the ancient TV. The DVD tray opened with a mechanical whir. The disc slid in. Static, then video. Our old kitchen, 15 years younger. Serafina standing by the sink. Quentin bursting in, face red, eyes wild. His voice cracked through the speakers. You're not my mother. You just screwed my dad and got stuck with me. I'll take everything he has and you can't stop me. Serafina on screen, crying, but calm. I've always loved you like my own. Shame you can't see that. Young Quentin stormed out. The camera kept rolling. Serafina wiped her eyes, looked directly at the lens, mouthed, I'm sorry, Felix. The screen went black. I sat there, 30 seconds of silence. Then, play it again. Felix! Again. Second viewing, I took notes. Detached, professional. The archivist analyzing historical evidence. Except this history was my son destroying my wife's heart 15 years before I knew it happened. Pierre waited until the screen went dark again. You okay? No, but I will be. My hand was steady writing. She knew. 15 years ago, she knew exactly who he was. And she stayed, protected him, protected you. Until she couldn't anymore. My phone buzzed. Quentin's name lit the screen. I put it on speaker so Pierre could hear. Dad, finally, been trying to call? I was busy. Yeah, I heard you were at the police station. Dad, we need to talk about this misunderstanding. What misunderstanding? The loan thing, it's not what it looks like. Come over tonight. Priscilla's making dinner. We'll clear this up. What time? Pause. He'd expected resistance. 7? 7 good? 7's fine. Great, so we'll... I hung up. Pierre stared at me. That was too easy. They're planning something. So am I. I pulled the photocopies from my document case, then from my jacket, a digital recorder, smaller than a deck of cards. Oregon's a one-party consent state, right? Pierre smiled. Actual smile. It is. Record away. And if things get heated, I want proof of what's said. You're not going alone. Yes, I am. They're expecting me alone. You showing up changes the dynamic. Felix, I spent 40 years handling historical conflicts on paper. I can handle one dinner with my son. Text from Priscilla arrived. Thank you for agreeing to come tonight. We can fix this. I showed Pierre the heart emoji again. I'm starting a collection of her emoji lies. So far we have hearts, smiley faces, and praying hands. The praying hands were particularly ironic given she was praying I'd die faster. I didn't respond to her text, let the silence speak. Back home, I went to my study. My stamp collection filled glass cases along one wall. I opened the Victorian case, found what I needed. My great-grandfather was a notary in Philadelphia, 1890s. I held up the brass seal. This authenticated thousands of documents. Pierre had followed me home. Beautiful piece. What's it got to do with tonight? Theater. They want to manipulate me? I'll give them a show they won't forget. I tested 3 different seals. One left blurry impressions. Another's handle cracked slightly. The third, 1892, Cornelius Morgan, pressed perfect wax circles. Pierre watched me work. You're bringing a wax seal to a dinner fight? You bring what you know. I know documentation. At 6:15, my phone buzzed. Text from Eloise. Dad, be careful tonight. I've been thinking about Quentin's place. There's a back door through the kitchen, if you need to leave fast. My daughter in Stockholm, sensing danger across an ocean. I'll be fine, but thank you. Another text. Unknown number. Mr. Morgan, Esta Lancaster, did you get my message about my daughter? I have documents you should see. Esta, Priscilla's mother. Another piece. I looked at the clock. 45 minutes until dinner. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Powell's Books Cafe. I put on my jacket, padded pockets, recorder, seal, phone, keys, wallet. The archivist going to document a confession. Priscilla opened the door with a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Felix, come in, you're soaked. Spring rain hammered the roof. Nature's car wash. Quentin appeared in the hallway. Dad, let me take your jacket. I'm fine, still cold, I'll keep it. The recorder in my pocket stayed exactly where it was. Priscilla's smile twitched. Of course, come sit. Dinner's almost ready. Their dining room looked like a magazine spread. Too many flowers, candles everywhere. Fancy plates I'd never seen before. She was trying too hard. Smells wonderful. What are we having? Pot roast, your favorite, Quentin said. Used to be. Now I'm watching my cholesterol. Her face did something complicated. She'd spent hours on this meal. I'd just diet-checked it. Beer? Wine? Quentin's voice was too bright. Water's fine. Driving home later. We sat. Priscilla served. Her hands trembled slightly, pouring wine for herself. Quentin's tie was perfectly straight, over-prepared, rehearsed. So, Dad, how've you been? Really? Fine. Busy. Busy with what? Priscilla's concern dripped like honey. We worry about you in that big house alone. This and that. Archiving some old documents. You know me. Quentin laughed, too loud. Always organizing something? Remember when you alphabetized the spice rack? That was your mother. I did it by frequency of use. Silence crashed down. Serafina's name hung in the air like smoke. Priscilla recovered first. The pot roast is grass-fed, from that organic market on Burnside. Expensive? We wanted tonight to be special. Special, that's one word for it. Quentin set down his fork. The rehearsed moment had arrived. Dad, we need to talk about the police thing. Do we? It's a misunderstanding, a big one. I think someone's given them wrong information. Who? I don't know, but those loans? I was helping you. When Mom was sick, you weren't thinking clearly. I handled the paperwork. By forging my signature, fork clattered. Priscilla's hand froze, reaching for her wine. Forging? Dad, no. You signed those? Maybe you don't remember, but I remember everything I sign. Occupational habit. Priscilla's voice went smooth, practiced. Forensic analysis isn't always accurate. I've read studies. And you did sign a lot of papers when Serafina was in and out of treatments. She wasn't in treatments. She died suddenly, heart failure. I meant before, the checkups, the preventative care, so many forms. At a hospital? Well, yes, obviously. Which hospital? Pause. I don't remember the name. You'd know better than me. I would, since I was never at any hospital with her for any forms. Quentin's face went red. Dad, okay, your memory isn't what it was. That's normal at your age. I stood, chair scraped against hardwood. My memory? He flinched. I didn't mean... I spent 40 years analyzing documents, identifying forgeries, testing signatures against authentic samples. You think I can't recognize my own signature? I threw the photocopies on the table. They scattered across the pot roast. These are forged. The baseline is wrong. The pressure points are wrong. The loop on the M is wrong. Someone who's never seen me sign with a fountain pen forged these. Priscilla stared at the documents, all color drained from her face. Where did you? My wife kept the originals. She knew. She always knew. Quentin's voice broke. Okay, yes, I signed them. Quentin, Priscilla's warning came sharp. He already knows. What's the point? He turned to me. Yes, I signed for you. But Dad, listen. You were a mess after Mom died. Depressed, not eating, not sleeping. I was trying to help. Help? The house needed repairs. Property taxes were due. I didn't want to bother you with details when you were grieving. So you took out $120,000 in loans I didn't know about? It wasn't like that? Then what was it like? Quentin, stop talking. Priscilla's voice could cut glass. No, let him explain. I'm curious. I sat back down, calm. Explain how stealing my house helps me grieve. I placed my phone on the table, center, where they both could see. Want to hear something interesting? What is that? I pressed play. Their voices filled the room, crystal clear. Once Mom's gone, Dad won't last long. Stroke's practically inevitable. Dr. Wade can make sure. Priscilla lunged across the table, grabbed the phone, threw it against the wall. It shattered, pieces scattered across the floor. I didn't move. That was copy number 3. I have 7 more. Quentin's whisper barely carried. Where did you get that? Your mother recorded everything. Phone calls, conversations, everything. That's illegal. You can't record people without... Priscilla was on her feet. Oregon's a one-party consent state. If one person in the conversation knows it's being recorded, it's legal. Quentin stared at me. Mom knew. She always knew. 7? His voice cracked. Stress hysteria laugh bubbled up. You have 7 copies? I'm an archivist. Redundancy is my religion. Quentin started crying. Real tears, not manipulation. You loved her more. What? You loved Mom more than me, more than you ever loved me. That's not... His voice rose. I was never your real son. Eloise is your blood, your real daughter. I'm just the kid who came with the package, the charity case. I never thought of you that way. You never had to think it. It just was. Every accomplishment, that's my boy. But which boy, Dad? The adopted one or the real one? He shook off Priscilla's hand on his shoulder. Eloise got the scholarships, the praise, the pride. What did I get? Quentin's doing fine. Fine, like I was a participation trophy. I stood. I loved you equally. Liar. I loved you both. Different kids, different strengths, but equal love. Then why does she get everything? She doesn't. She got a career she earned. You got chances. Loans I never asked you to repay. Support when your startup failed. Help with your house down payment. I gave you everything I gave her. It's not the same. No, it's not. Because you chose greed over family. You chose to steal rather than ask. You chose to forge rather than earn. I walked to the door. You chose this. My hand on the doorknob. I turned back. I loved you as my son. Past tense. Dad, please. That recording about the stroke, about Dr. Wade making sure I died, that's attempted murder conspiracy. The police have it now. Priscilla found her voice. You can't prove... I don't have to prove it. You just confessed to fraud. The conspiracy charge is bonus. Dad! Quentin's sob followed me out. I opened the door. Rain poured. You wanted to talk. We talked. Don't contact me again. Behind me, Priscilla's sharp whisper. Get yourself together. We need a lawyer. Now. I sat in my car. Engine running. Heater on. My hands gripped the steering wheel. They were shaking. Through rain-streaked glass, I could see their dining room window. 2 silhouettes. Quentin still sitting. Priscilla pacing, phone to her ear. My phone buzzed. Pierre. How'd it go? How did it go? I just destroyed my son. Got the confession? All of it. His response came fast. Good. Come to my office tomorrow. We need to discuss Esta Lancaster's information. It's worse than we thought. Worse? I looked back at the house. Another text. She has bank statements. Priscilla's been running this scam before. Multiple victims. Your son might not be the mastermind you think he is. Multiple victims? My breath caught. My phone rang. Unknown number. Mr. Morgan? Man's voice. Professional. Cold. This is Dr. Malcolm Wade. I understand you've been asking about me. We should talk, before you make any mistakes with the police. The doctor, the stroke plan. My hands stopped shaking. Ice filled my veins. Where? My phone rang while I stared at cold coffee. Replay of last night's dinner kept looping. Quentin's broken voice. Priscilla's ice-cold control. Unknown number. Almost didn't answer. Mr. Morgan, this is Esta Lancaster. I'm Priscilla's mother. I think we need to talk. How did you get my number? Your lawyer, Mr. Costello. He said you might want to hear what I have to say. My exhaustion lifted slightly. About? Her voice broke. About my daughter and what she's done. Where can we meet? There's a cafe, Powell's Books. Do you know it? I know it. When? Is now too soon? I've been sitting on this for weeks. I can't anymore. Give me an hour. Powell's cafe was crowded. Esta Lancaster sat in a corner booth, hands wrapped around a tea mug despite the spring warmth. 60-something, tired eyes, cheap coat. Thank you for coming. I wasn't sure you would. Pierre said it was important. It is. It's about... She stopped, collected herself. A month ago, Priscilla came to me. Said your grandson was sick. Cancer. Needed experimental treatment. Insurance wouldn't cover it. My grandson? Her son. Your son's son. She said they needed $30,000 immediately, or he'd die. My blood went cold. The boy is fine. Perfectly healthy. I called the school to check. He was at soccer practice. She slid a paper across the table, hands trembling. I sold my wedding ring, only thing of value I had. My husband died 8 years ago. I kept his ring, 22-karat gold, his grandmother's stone. Jeweler gave me $30,000. I picked up the paper carefully. Promissory note. Priscilla's handwriting. She gave you a promissory note. Promised to pay me back in 6 months. That was 5 weeks ago. I pulled out my phone, photographed the note, compared it to Priscilla's signature from court documents. My archivist training kicked in. Automatic. This isn't her signature. What? The signature on this note. It's close, but it's wrong. The P doesn't loop correctly. The baseline drifts. Someone who knows her handwriting, but not her signature style, wrote this. Esta's face crumpled. But she signed it in front of me. Did you watch her sign it? She tried to remember. She took it to the kitchen, said she needed better light, came back with it signed. She forged her own signature, made it invalid so you couldn't enforce collection. Silence. Then a whisper. She planned it from the beginning. We sat there, surrounded by bookshelves of self-help and redemption stories. I noticed the irony. We're literally surrounded by books about overcoming trauma and choosing better paths. Apparently, my daughter-in-law skipped that aisle. Esta's weak laugh turned into crying. How did she become this? She was a good girl, sweet. Helped me with her little sister. Then Richard, my husband, he left. Lost his job, started drinking, one day just gone. We had a mortgage. I was a secretary. Didn't make enough. Bank foreclosed. When? Priscilla was 12. Wanda was 8. We moved to a rental, 1 bedroom for all 3 of us. I worked 3 jobs. Cleaned offices at night, retail on weekends, secretary during the week. Girls barely saw me. That's not your fault. Priscilla said it was. She said I should have been smarter, should have had savings, should have made Richard stay. She was 12 years old, and she blamed me for everything. Pause. Day we moved out, she stood on the lawn and said, I'll never be like you. I'll never be poor. I'll never let anyone make me weak. She was a child, traumatized. She was 12. Now she's 36 and she just stole my wedding ring. Esta looked at me. What happened to your family? Why is my daughter destroying you? The pieces clicked into place. She's not helping my son steal from me. She's using him to steal from me. What do you mean? I thought Quentin was the thief, that Priscilla was going along with it. But it's backwards, isn't it? She's driving this. He's the weapon. Esta nodded slowly. She's always been like that. Even with Richard. She'd tell him what to do, how to act, and he'd listen. He was weak and she was determined. Has she done this before? Borrowed money she didn't return? Long pause. My sister Wanda, 2 years ago, 15,000. Same story, emergency, family, urgent. Wanda gave her everything she had. Priscilla never paid it back. They don't speak now. Anyone else? I don't know. But if she did it twice in our family, my mind raced. Pattern evidence. Multiple victims. Serial fraud. The barista came by. Can I get you fresh drinks? Both our cups were full. Cold. We'd been talking 90 minutes without touching them. I think we're past caffeine helping. He backed away slowly. I'll help you, I said. What? Get your money back? I can't promise all of it, but when this is over, when the courts are done with her, I'll make sure you're in line for restitution. Why would you do that? Because you're a victim too, and because... I paused. I understand what it's like to ask what happened to them, when someone you loved becomes someone you don't recognize. Your son? I thought I raised him better. You thought you raised her better. We were both wrong. Or maybe they were both damaged, and we couldn't see it. Esta pulled a worn photo from her purse. 12-year-old Priscilla on a lawn, crying, clutching her younger sister's hand. Look at her face. She's terrified. She thought we'd be homeless. I told her we'd be okay, but she didn't believe me. She never believed me again after that day. I stared at the scared child, saw the origin of the monster, didn't excuse her, but explained her. Can people be saved, or are they just broken? I don't know, but I know they shouldn't be allowed to keep breaking others. Back in my car, I sat in the parking garage. 20 minutes, phone in hand, didn't call, just sat. My phone buzzed. Pierre. How'd it go with Esta? Worse than expected. Priscilla's been running this scam for years, multiple victims. Esta's not the first. We need to document everyone, build a pattern. Already on it, Esta's giving me contact info for her sister. Good. Meanwhile, we have a problem. What now? Quentin and Priscilla hired Clarence Howard. Should I know that name? Aggressive defense attorney, win at all costs type. He's filing motions, lots of them. Can you handle him? I've handled worse. But Felix, this is about to get uglier. I looked at the photo on my phone. 12-year-old Priscilla, 12-year-old trauma, creating 36-year-old predator. Started my car, jaw set. Not anymore. That evening, my phone rang. Detective Pierce. Mr. Morgan, we've got a problem. Your son and daughter-in-law filed a complaint. They're claiming you're mentally incompetent. They've got a psychiatrist willing to testify. Judge has ordered an evaluation. What? Emergency hearing tomorrow. They're moving fast. Some doctor named Philemon Wade. My blood went cold. Wade, the stroke plan doctor. He's corrupt. He's part of their scheme. Can you prove that? I looked at my desk. Audio recording mentioning Wade. Esta's note. Serafina's documentation. Yes, but not by tomorrow. Pierre's text arrived. I heard about the hearing. Meet me at the courthouse 8 a.m. Bring everything. This is their counterattack. They're trying to have you declared incompetent before the fraud case proceeds. My hands started shaking again. If they succeeded, they'd get power of attorney, control my assets, make me unable to testify. Another text. Don't panic. We have options. But Felix, if you're not sharp tomorrow, we lose everything. I looked at my reflection in the dark window. 67. Exhausted. Running on rage and coffee. I opened my desk drawer. My great-grandfather's wax seal sat inside like a talisman. Set it on the desk like a chess piece. They want to play dirty? I whispered to the empty room. I've been documenting dirty for 40 years. Clarence Howard arrived at the courthouse in a Mercedes. Pierre pulled up in his Honda Civic. Your car or his? I asked. Pierre unlocked his door. Mine's paid off. His is leased with his client's stolen money. Poetic justice has a German engine, apparently. Inside, Quentin and Priscilla wouldn't look at me. They huddled with Howard in the hallway. His voice carried, theatrical, practiced, the kind of lawyer who performs for judges. Focus, Pierre said quietly. He's going to attack your credibility, your memory, your judgment. Don't take the bait. I'm 67, not senile. Make sure the judge knows that. Courtroom 4B was smaller than I expected. Judge Caroline Gardner presided. Older black woman, sharp eyes, no-nonsense face. She looked at me over reading glasses. Howard stood. His chair rolled backward and hit the wall. Everyone turned. He didn't acknowledge it. launched into his opening. "Does he practice that?" I whispered. "The chair thing?" Pierre tried not to laugh. "Probably. Intimidation through furniture." "Your Honor," Howard began, "we're here today because of a tragedy unfolding in real time. Felix Morgan, 67 years old, recently widowed, is suffering a mental breakdown. The death of his wife has sent him spiraling into paranoia, confusion, and unfounded accusations against his own son." Pierre stood. "Objection. This is character assassination, not legal argument." "Mr. Howard, stick to facts, please." "Facts, Your Honor? The fact is Mr. Morgan believes his son forged documents that Mr. Morgan himself signed. The fact is, he's making wild accusations about murder plots. The fact is, he can't distinguish reality from grief-induced paranoia." "That's not—" I started, Pierre's hand on my arm. "Let him talk. He's overplaying. We have expert psychiatric testimony that Mr. Morgan is no longer competent to make legal decisions. For his own protection, we request the court grant my client's temporary conservatorship." "Conservatorship?" the word burst out. "Mr. Morgan, please." They called Dr. Philemon Wade to the stand. Mid-50s, polished suit, professional smile. His voice hit me like a fist. I knew that voice. The audio recording from Serafina's USB drive. "Dr. Wade can make sure it happens." I grabbed Pierre's arm, whispered urgently. Howard questioned Wade smoothly. "Please explain your evaluation of Felix Morgan." "I conducted a comprehensive psychiatric assessment. My findings indicate significant cognitive decline, including memory impairment, paranoid ideation, and compromised decision-making capacity." "Did you personally conduct this evaluation?" Pierre asked. I reviewed his cognitive testing results from— "So you didn't personally examine him?" I reviewed comprehensive medical documentation. Judge Gardner leaned forward. "Dr. Wade, please answer the question directly." "I did not personally examine Mr. Morgan, but the cognitive testing clearly shows." "Testing conducted at Northwest Medical Associates, correct?" "Yes." "And you're stating these results show dementia indicators?" "Consistent with early-stage dementia, yes. Memory gaps, confusion about dates, difficulty with executive function." My hands gripped the armrest. Pierre stood. "Your Honor, we have the original test results from Northwest Medical. They show no such indicators. In fact, Mr. Morgan scored in the 95th percentile for his age group." Howard jumped up. "If counsel is implying the medical records are incorrect, I'm implying someone altered them." I stood before Pierre could stop me. I scored 97% on memory recall, perfect score on executive function tasks. Dr. Yamamoto said my memory was better than most 40-year-olds. I spent 40 years analyzing documents. I know what I scored. "Mr. Morgan, please sit." Someone changed those results, someone who had access to the files at Northwest Medical. Wade shifted uncomfortably. "Your Honor, I received these results through proper channels." "From who?" I demanded. "That's confidential medical? From a nurse named Ramona Chen, the same nurse my son's wife's cousin knows?" Silence fell like a hammer. Quentin went pale. "Your Honor, this is wild speculation." Howard tried. "We have phone records," Pierre said calmly. 3 calls between Quentin Morgan and Ramona Chen in the week before this hearing. Judge Gardner called recess. In the hallway, Quentin approached, low voice, dangerous. "You think you're clever. I think you're desperate." "Desperate? I'm protecting my future. You want to leave everything to Eloise? Fine. But I'm taking what's mine first." "Nothing is yours." "Everything is mine. I stayed here. I helped you. I was the son who didn't run away to Sweden." He leaned closer. "Sign over the house. Drop the charges. We'll make all of this go away. You can live quietly, peacefully, no nursing home, no legal battles." "Never?" "Then I'll watch you destroyed. Priscilla's lawyer says we can drag this out for years. You'll spend every penny on legal fees, die broke and alone. Is that what you want? I want you to face consequences. The only consequence coming is your incompetency declaration. 1 week, Dad. You fail that evaluation, and I become your conservator. I control everything. Your house, your money, your life." His hands were shaking, voice cracked. "You know what's funny? You taught me to be thorough, document everything, plan ahead. I learned from the best." He walked away quickly. before I could respond. Because he was crying. Priscilla waited down the hall, nodded approval, stone face, no tears for her. In Pierre's office, I paced. They bribed a nurse. They falsified medical records. They've got a corrupt psychiatrist. How do we fight this? Pierre sat calmly at his desk. We fight it the same way you fought everything else, with evidence. Evidence? They're manufacturing evidence. The judge believes they're fake medical reports. For now. But she ordered an independent evaluation. New doctor, new facility, someone they can't bribe. 1 week, that's not enough time to... It's plenty of time. You know why? He slid a folder across his desk. Because you're not actually senile. You're going to ace that evaluation. But more importantly, we're going to destroy Dr. Wade's credibility before the next hearing. I opened the folder. What is this? Wade's professional history. Your wife collected some of it. I found the rest. My hands stopped shaking. The archivist woke up. He lost his medical license twice. Once in California, 2015. Testified in a conservatorship case. Turned out he'd been paid by the petitioners. License suspended 2 years. Second time in Nevada, 2019. Same thing, false testimony for money in an elder abuse case. How does he still practice? Moved to Oregon, applied for new license, didn't disclose prior suspensions. The board didn't catch it. This is exactly what I did for 40 years, finding inconsistencies in documentation. I know, that's why you're going to present this evidence. Not me, you. What? The judge needs to see you're sharp, competent, capable of complex analysis. What better way than watching you methodically dismantle a corrupt expert witness? I looked at the documents, mind working. The signature on his Oregon medical license application, it's dated 2020, but the notary stamp is from 2019. Pierre smiled. Keep going. The license number format doesn't match Oregon's system. And the suspension disclosure section, it's blank, but there's a faint impression underneath, like something was whited out and photocopied. Now you see it. I looked up, steel in my voice. He forged his license application. Allegedly, but you're going to prove it, in court, to the judge, while demonstrating perfect cognitive function and expert analytical skills. Slow smile. They just handed me the rope to hang them with. That night, I sat alone. On my desk, Wade's professional history. His forged Oregon license application audio recording, with his voice discussing stroke plan, independent evaluation appointment card, Esta's forged promissory note, Serafina's USB drive, creating a presentation. For the judge, I'd present the evidence myself. My phone buzzed. Unknown number? Mr. Morgan, this is Dr. Malcolm Wade. I believe we should talk before Monday's evaluation. I may have been misinformed about your case. Perhaps we can reach an understanding. I have information about who paid me. Call me. Wade was breaking. Offering to flip. Another text from Quentin. Dad, please, can we just talk? Alone? No lawyers, just us. I can explain everything. Tomorrow, your house, noon. Then Esta. I contacted Wanda. She wants to testify, and she knows 3 other women Priscilla borrowed from. We have 5 victims total. Call me. 3 fronts opening, the war expanding. I texted Wade. Tomorrow, 10 a.m., Powell's Books. Come alone. Texted Quentin. Tomorrow, noon, my house, but I'm recording everything. Texted Esta. Collect all their stories. Documentation, amounts, dates. We're building a case. Looked at Serafina's photo. I'm going to finish what you started. Outside, a car pulled up across the street. Same car from before. Watching. I saw it. Didn't react. Just closed my curtains. My hands weren't shaking anymore. Friday morning, 1 week since the threat from Dr. Wade. I arranged documents on my desk with the precision of 40 years' practice. License applications, bank statements, testimony transcripts from California and Nevada. Pierre called at 7. You ready? I've been ready for a week. Judge Gardner approved your motion. You're presenting the evidence yourself. My hands didn't shake anymore. Good. The courthouse steps had an elder abuse awareness rally. Complete coincidence. Someone tried to hand me a flyer about protecting seniors from family fraud. I'm aware, I said. Very aware. Good. Stay vigilant. I looked at the flyer, then the courthouse doors. I'll do that. Inside, Clarence Howard arrived in his Mercedes. Pierre pulled up in his Honda. "Mine's paid off," Pierre said, locking his door. "His is leased with his client's stolen money. Poetic justice has a German engine, apparently." Courtroom 4B filled slowly. Esta sat in the gallery. Detective Pierce. Others. Quentin and Priscilla entered last. Wouldn't look at me. Judge Gardner took the bench. "Mr. Morgan, you may present your evidence." I stood, walked to the front, set my leather document case on the table, opened it, arranged papers chronologically. My ritual. "Dr. Wade," I began. My voice was steady. "You testified that I demonstrate signs of dementia based on cognitive testing, correct?" "That's correct." "How long did you personally spend evaluating me?" "I reviewed comprehensive medical documentation." "How long in person, doctor?" Pause. "I didn't personally examine you. I reviewed test results." "Test results showing memory loss, confusion, impaired judgment." "Yes." "How long does it typically take to diagnose dementia?" "It varies. Sometimes a single evaluation session is sufficient if symptoms are clear." "How long is that session?" "An hour, sometimes longer." I placed a document on the table. "This is a contract with the National Archives, dated last month. They hired me to analyze authenticity of Civil War-era documents, 200 hours of work, complex analysis requiring perfect memory, attention to detail, pattern recognition." Wade said nothing. "People with dementia can't do this work, can they, doctor?" "There are different stages. Yes or no? Can someone with cognitive impairment sufficient to warrant conservatorship perform expert historical document analysis?" "No. Yet I completed this project. Here's the evaluation from the director. Felix Morgan's work was exceptional. His memory for detail and analytical precision are remarkable for any age." I looked at him. Remarkable for any age, not concerning or impaired. Remarkable. I placed another document down. Bank statement. "Dr. Wade, who paid for your expert testimony today?" "I was retained by the petitioner's attorney." "How much?" Howard stood. "Objection. Dr. Wade's fee is irrelevant." "Overruled," Judge Gardner said. "Answer." $5,000. "When did you receive this payment?" I don't recall exactly." "This is a bank statement for Priscilla Morgan's account. 1 week before you conducted your evaluation, she transferred $5,000 to your account. Reference line says, consultation." The courtroom erupted. Priscilla jumped up. "That was a consultation fee, perfectly legal." I turned to her, calm. "A consultation about what, Priscilla?" About my father-in-law's condition." "Before he evaluated me? You consulted about my condition before he looked at any evidence?" "Your Honor, this is..." Howard tried. "It's called witness tampering. You paid Dr. Wade to deliver a specific diagnosis before he ever reviewed my case." Judge Gardner's gavel cracked. "Order. Dr. Wade, did Mrs. Morgan discuss desired outcomes before you conducted your evaluation?" Long silence. "We discussed her concerns about her father-in-law's capacity." "And she paid you $5,000 for that discussion?" "It's standard." "No, it's not. It's bribery." I continued, methodical, clinical. 40 years of document analysis compressed into 40 minutes of testimony. Wade's California suspension, his Nevada revocation, the victims whose lives he destroyed for money. Mrs. Alice Brennan, California, 2015. You testified she had Alzheimer's. Her son gained conservatorship. She died in a state facility 6 months later. The family discovered her money was gone. You were suspended. That case was complex. Mr. Robert Sato, Nevada, 2019. You testified he couldn't manage his affairs. His business partner gained control of his assets. Mr. Sato killed himself. You lost your license again? Absolute silence. And now you're here, paid $5,000 by my daughter-in-law, testifying I'm incompetent so my son can take control of my assets. History repeating, Dr. Wade. His face was gray, hands shaking. Judge Gardner's voice cut through the quiet. I've heard enough. Dr. Wade, your testimony is stricken from the record. I'm referring this matter to the Oregon Medical Board for investigation. Your Honor, if I could explain, you've explained plenty. Mr. and Mrs. Morgan, your petition for conservatorship is denied. Furthermore, I'm forwarding this evidence of witness tampering to the district attorney's office. She looked at me. Mr. Morgan, you've more than demonstrated your cognitive capacity. Court is adjourned. The gavel fell. In the hallway, I collected my documents, arranged them back in my case. The ritual calmed me, footsteps behind me. I turned, Quentin, face twisted, crying, screaming. You destroyed my family. I stopped. What? You did this. We could have worked this out, but you had to destroy everything. I destroyed your family? Yes, you couldn't just let it go. You had to punish me. My voice stayed cold. You forged my signature. You took out illegal loans in my name. You plotted my death with a corrupt doctor. You tried to have me declared incompetent so you could steal my house. Which part should I have let go? I'm your son. You were my son, past tense. You never wanted me. You only wanted Eloise. I wanted you to be honest, to be decent, to be the man I thought I raised. You chose otherwise. Priscilla pulled his arm. Quentin, stop. Let's go. He shook her off. No, he needs to hear this. You ruined my life. You ruined your life. I just showed everyone what you did. There's a difference. I hate you. Pause. Then quietly, I know. You've made that clear. He broke down, full sobs. I didn't want this. I didn't want any of this. Then why did you do it? No answer, just crying. Goodbye, Quentin. I walked away, didn't look back. In my car, I sat with the engine off, stared at the courthouse in my rearview mirror. My phone buzzed. Pierre. You were brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Wait is finished. I didn't respond immediately. Pierre. Felix, you okay? I won. Yes, you did. Then why does it feel like this? Like what? Empty. Because you loved him once. Winning doesn't erase that. No, it doesn't. I started the car, drove home, didn't turn on the radio, just drove in silence through Portland rain. The seal of justice had been stamped. The impression was permanent, but the wax was still warm, and it hurt. 3 months later, October light slanted through my office windows. My stamp collection spread across the desk, 14,307 pieces. Each one unique, each one cataloged, each one exactly where it belonged. The house was quieter now, cleaner, nothing to do but organize. I drove past Quentin's foreclosed house on my way to the grocery store, didn't slow down, didn't look. The for sale sign said enough. The mail came at 2. Bills, junk, a restitution payment schedule from the court, Quentin's first payment, $500, and Esta's Christmas card. We were friendly now, connected through shared victimhood, not the connection anyone wants. The doorbell rang at 3. Through the window I saw him, Quentin, gaunt, 20 pounds lighter, older jacket, defeated posture. I considered not answering, but I did. He stood on my porch, silent. I stepped aside. He entered, sat when I gestured to the living room. We sat in silence for 30 seconds. I wanted to apologize. The court made you write an apology letter. I got it, didn't open it. This isn't because the court said to. This is because I need to say it. I waited. You were right about everything. I destroyed my life, my family, all of it, and it wasn't you. It was me. More silence. I spent my whole life feeling like I wasn't really yours, like I was borrowed, temporary. Even when you told me you loved me, I thought you meant it differently than you meant it with Eloise. I didn't. I know that now. Or maybe I always knew and couldn't accept it. I thought if I took everything material, the house, the money, the inheritance, I'd finally be the real son. Like owning your things would make me yours. You were always mine, until you chose to be a thief. His voice broke. I know, I chose wrong. I chose Priscilla's fear over your love. I chose money over family. I chose lies over truth. Yes, you did. Can you forgive me? Long pause. No, he cried. I understand. I stood, went to my desk, returned with an envelope. Your mother left recordings, lots of them. Most were evidence. But the last one, I paused. The last one was instructions for me. Instructions? She said, don't let him destroy himself completely. Punish him. He deserves that. But give him a chance. Not for him, for his children. His face crumpled. In this envelope, Contact information for a therapist. Dr. Sarah Brennan specializes in family trauma, manipulation recovery, and a financial advisor, Curtis Wells, helps people rebuild after financial disaster. I can't afford, I paid for a year, already done. Why would you? I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for your mother's memory and for your kids. My kids won't see me. Priscilla moved them to Estes. They don't want anything to do with me. Then fix yourself first. Become someone they might want to know someday. I don't know if I can. Neither do I, but you have a chance. That's more than a lot of people get. He took the envelope, trying to thank me. I cut him off. Don't. Just go. Get help. Be better. Stay away from me. He stood, turned, stopped. For what it's worth, I did love you. I just love my fear more. I didn't respond. Goodbye, Dad. Still didn't respond. He left. I locked the door behind him, leaned against it, closed my eyes, breathed, walked back to my office, sat at my desk, looked at Serafina's photo. I did what you asked. I gave him a chance. Silence. I hope it was enough. More silence. I hope you'd be proud, or at least not disappointed. Long moment. I miss you, every day. You would have known what to say to him. I just had anger. Pause. But I'm still here, still standing. That's something, right? No answer, just photo. Right. My laptop chimed, Zoom call from Eloise. Her face filled the screen, smiling from Stockholm. Dad, I'm coming home for Christmas. And I smiled, first genuine smile in months. I'll be here. We talked about her research, about Stockholm Christmas markets, about recipes she wanted to cook in my kitchen. After she hung up, I sat in the quiet again. Different quiet now, not empty, just still. I took out my great-grandfather's wax seal. Cornelius Morgan, Notary Public, Philadelphia, 1892. 4 generations of documentation and truth. Placed blank paper on desk, lit small candle, melted wax, pressed seal firmly, lifted carefully. Perfect impression. Case closed, I whispered, but my eyes drifted to Serafina's photo. Was it closed? Quentin was gone. Priscilla was facing justice. Wade was ruined. The house was safe. The money was being repaid. But the house was so quiet. I looked around my office. Books I'd read, documents I'd preserved, stamps I'd collected, photos of people I'd loved, alone but not destroyed, victorious but not celebrating, just surviving, dignified. Pierre texted, "How'd it go? Heard Quentin visited. Gave him the therapist info, sent him away. It's done. How do you feel?" Like I climbed a mountain and found nothing at the top. That's victory sometimes, empty but earned. I turned off the desk lamp, walked to the kitchen, started dinner for 1. But Eloise would be home for Christmas. Then it'd be dinner for 2. Outside, Portland rain started. Inside, I made tea. The seal on fate had been pressed. The impression was permanent. I survived. I won. I lost. I endured. The case was closed. Life continued. If you like this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your impressions of this story in the comments. To listen to the next story, click on the box on the left. Thank you for watching.